Pirate Nation on X. The European Parliament has called for a ban on social media access for under 16s without parental consent. MEPs have requested that age verification mechanisms be enforced, which, when I hear those two lines, they're two separate thoughts. Why do you need age verification mechanisms if the parents can just consent? You have a parent, and a parent will consent because they're your parent. The problem with technology is it gives the power and authority to the government, and they can take that away from the control of the parents. That's what's scary about this. Zach says every major city on earth was built by people who don't know how to switch the HDMI cable of their televisions. Maybe nobody needs to be using the internet. I mean, good point. Enforced with failure, because they'll never use a real person to verify the age of the person accessing the internet. So basically, a ban on all anonymous accounts. Yep. Now we're getting to the reason they want to get rid of anonymity on the internet, and they want pictures of your kids. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. Otherwise, there is no reason for this. There's no reason at all. I said, protecting kids, that is always the excuse. What they really want is to scan faces, market to children, and keep them stuck inside their apps, meaning the apps that are government approved apps. Also, the UK has no issue with life-altering gender surgeries for kids, but social media is apparently a bridge too far. What a joke. And I quote tweeted Visegrad, who said, breaking, the European Parliament just voted in favor of banning social media for people under the age of 16. 483 MEPs voted in favor, while 92 voted against it. If it becomes law, people will likely have to use IDs to log into their profiles, making anonymous accounts impossible. And then we have the damage control. And, oh, you just don't understand, guys. Let me explain it to you. I said, no mention of Roblox or Discord within social media apps affected. Curious indeed. And this is Anthony Albanese. With 2 weeks until our social media ban for under 16s, here's what you need to know. Let's listen to the guy that knows all about the internet, apparently. Here we go.
You've had some questions about our social media ban for under 16s. So let's get into it. Question 1. Which social and gaming platforms are included? Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, X, Reddit, Kick, and Twitch.
So no Discord and no Roblox, which is really strange if you're carving out the two, you could argue, two biggest apps that kids use to interact with people on a social media platform. If it's not for lobbying and money, you need to explain to me why you carved Roblox out of this, why you carved Discord out of this. Why? I would love to know the answer.
Are all going to be included? Question 2.
He's like all excited too. They're all going to be included.
When does it come into effect? December 10, in just a couple of weeks' time.
What a piece of shit.
Question 3. I am over 16. Will I have to submit government ID to access my account? No. In fact, our legislation specifically prohibits platforms from requiring government-issued ID. Our social media ban is about making sure kids have a childhood. It's not going to be perfect, but it's too important not to give it a crack.
What? then how are you going to enforce it? And also the whole, how he ended it, too important not to give it a crack, meaning this is our first try. We're going to come back later with those things because we know this isn't going to work initially. And oh, by the way, I keep going back to the parents are the ones raising their kids. And if the parents are not doing a good enough job raising their kids, then I would advocate for governmental programs to educate the parents on the dangers of social media and ideas of what they can do with their kids instead of just sitting on social media all day. Problem solved. Then you let the parents parent, and the tax money still goes to your own groups that you want to fund in the back end. So that's how the government always works. I said coordinated because we also have Barry Andrews, MEP, who says we need to age limit social media. MEPs vote today in Strasbourg to support real age verification. We want a 13 age limit enforced with the upcoming EU digital wallet. Oh, curious. Almost like it's coordinated to fit everything together with this. We want a 16 age limit for access with parental consent. Ireland must implement the digital wallet in 2026. Parents cannot wait any longer. Pretty sure, bro, that parents have waited their entire lives and been fine with this. They're trying to create urgency on a situation where there is no urgency. They're creating a narrative that does not exist to scare people into, oh, we need the government to help us. We're so scared without the government. Let's see what he says here.
This week in Strasbourg, we will be voting on the EU digital wallet, which will introduce real age verification. That will mean that children under the age of 13 will not be.
What is going on right now? Does he have like a concert playing behind him? This is the best environment this guy could get for a 20-second clip. Echoey hallway with music playing where you can barely hear him. That's the best this guy could do. Is he golfing the rest of the time?
Able to access damaging social media apps. This is the kind of.
What is a damaging social media app? What damaging how? Explanations. What is it doing to these kids that the government needs to be there for that the parents can't be? How is the government doing something the parents can't do? Why can't they ever answer that question?
Regulation. Parents across Ireland, across Europe are looking for.
Parents, let me speak for you. Hey, parents out there, you're looking for this. The fuck I am.
Looking forward to voting for it.
What the hell even was that? And we'll leave it at this. Madam Savvy, I agree. And by the way, I disagree on the premise with Savvy on a couple of things here, but how she gets to the conclusion, I do agree with. She says, I agree no one under the age of 18 needs social media, which I disagree with. I don't necessarily think it's a terrible thing to introduce kids to interacting with people online. They will be using social media and the internet for their entire lives. So if you bubble everyone up and don't teach them about how the internet works until they're 18 years old, it's going to be a clusterfuck. I think it's a lot better to slowly educate them and understand the dangers of being addicted to it, or the strangers online, things like that can be very beneficial to understanding the world around you. With good parental controls, parents there guiding their kids and understanding the reality of the world. I don't want my kids living in a bubble. I don't want the government telling my kids they have to be bubbled up and then shoving them out the door when they're 18 to figure out this world. I don't want that at all. That is setting them up for failure. The internet is not what it was when I was a child. Again, fair. I agree. It's a lot crazier now. True. And there's a lot more dangers on it. True. Parents are still parents, though. But bans aren't needed. This is where I start to agree with her. Change the culture. Create cities that are safe and high trust so people have more than just my Wi-Fi for entertainment. 100%. And I've spoken to this before, too, about the macroeconomic situation of society at large. But even we'll just keep it in America. And buying a house is so ridiculously hysterical for millennials at this point that it's just a joke. You can't afford a home now. The boomers ruined everything. And then they're going to pass away. And then there's probably going to be a housing crash after we get too old to benefit from it. So our generation is a lost generation. That being the case, though, because the macroeconomic situation is so hard right now, both parents need to be working. There's less time to raise the kids. And the government is stepping in being like, we'll raise the kids for you. Win-win. Both parents are working. We get more tax dollars from both the dual income families, the government gets more money from us and less parents watching the kids, so the government can step in and raise your kids for you. This is a scary environment that's been created. Promote family again, 100%. The easiest way and the least imposing way to achieve this is don't allow an application to be labeled as anything other than adult if it has peer-to-peer communication purchases. Amazon, for example, shouldn't be labeled 4+. This is their shopping app, not videos. Twitch couldn't be listed as for kids. That won't stop some kids from getting on, but it will change the culture and conversation, which I guess I understand with the Amazon. I get that. More importantly, because I don't want my kids to be purchasing stuff on my accounts and stuff. But that doesn't happen anyways because I'm a good parent and I raised them right. Since it keeps going back to, I don't need more rules and regulations. I don't even need the fucking ESRB when it comes to video games. Now, that's me because I live in this world and I understand it. But even if I didn't play games all the time and understand the games that are coming out and what's involved with each of them, as a parent, if my kids were interested in playing the video games, I would be on board with working with them and understanding what games they're playing and what games they're interested in. That's literally part of the responsibility of being the parent. I don't understand why we need all these labels, these warnings, these cautions, these government mandates on everything. Let us parent. But kids deserve spaces. Well, no, they don't deserve it, but parents make those spaces. Communities where kids can be supervised make those spaces, which I agree with. The internet is no place for a child. The internet also isn't a right. See, I disagree with this. I think the internet is for everyone. And I think it's important for the parents to guide their kids with using the internet and be there for them. I think it's very important to do that. And it's all about balance and moderation. And because there is always one moron, you can teach kids how to use technology without letting them in a chat room app unsupervised. I guess, but I would speak more to it's about changing the culture and what the expectations of the child is. My kids don't want to go into a chat room with random people unsupervised. That's about the culture at the home and raising the kids. And if you aren't parenting your kids, they're probably going to be more apt to want to do stuff like that, which is foreign to me. But that's parentless behavior, doing stuff like that. So again, I put it on the government to say, take care of your own shit. Let parents parent. This stuff is not something that I back or stand behind. I think it's embarrassing. People in the responses to the government, go fuck yourself. Piss off. Not necessary. This is, by the way, not to Savvy. This is to this dude here. Not necessary. It's just more nonsense to bring digital ID. How about banning trans surgeries for minors? Why would they not start there? Seriously, why would they not start with this one? Wouldn't you think this is far more of a priority? Body mutilation of minors? Don't you think starting there would be the jumping off point? What a shit show. Priorities completely out of whack. And the government thinks doing something is better than doing nothing, as opposed to focusing their efforts on what do we need to fix here. They're like, what's going to benefit us and our buddies and give us pictures of kids' faces, digital IDs, so there's no anonymity on the internet anymore, and connections with KID and other verification companies where we could theoretically have contracts set up in the back with them for all this stuff. It's sketchy as fuck. It's sad that it's happening. And like Asmongold said, this is inevitable. Unfortunately, I feel like he was right. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop fighting against it, though. But I fear that this is going to be coming to America next, if it isn't already here in the first place. But I'll leave that there.